up, guys? It is KJ from Rakurai Network here, bringing you a heavily requested video today. And once again, I am joined by Mark from Real to Real Productions. Reintroduce yourself as always, bro.
What's up, man? Always good to be here. Thanks for having me back. And yeah, like, this was a lot of things. Weird. Last time we were on these videos, like, a lot of people were like, dude, this needs to be a series. So yeah, that's why we're here.
Yeah, we're, like, y'all spoke, and we are coming and bringing the request forth to your sub boxes today. So we're basically going to be going on a part 2 of what we talked about last time, where we were talking about potential team-ups in the Tournament of Power and which ones would work relatively well. And today we're basically continuing on that. So with that being said, what's your first suggestion for another potential team-up there?
Well, okay, so I have 2 I want to talk about just right up front, not to hog the spotlight or anything, but I basically last time talked about how I really want to see 17 and 18 fight as one, and we kind of got that in episode 101, I believe, where you got to see them basically team up, but it wasn't necessarily just them. It was more Kale and Khalifa kind of fighting the Pride Troopers themselves, and that was the main focus of that episode. One of the things I would really like to see, though, and it's something that they really kind of hinted at pretty much at the beginning when everyone was gathering for the first time, Universe 7's whole team, when we got to see Piccolo and 17, and we got that kind of callback to Piccolo versus 17 back in Dragon Ball Z. You guys remember that fight? That was a brawl, guys. That was like a heavily just like macho type of fight where they were just going at it. Exactly. And so we got like that callback where, you know, 17, I believe, you know, he's pulling up his, I don't think he pulled up, yeah, he did. He pulled up his sleeves, and Piccolo took off his like turban, and you're like, oh man, that guy's gonna throw his cape, and they're gonna go at it, you know, unresolved issues. But then they ended up shaking hands. I feel like there's no reason to have that scene if we're not going to at least have it one point, whether it's in this upcoming episode 103, I believe, or sometime down the line. Even if it's not in the Tournament of Power, just having 17 and Piccolo team up, and just imagine this, you know, I'll do an MJ, you know, I'll paint a picture, right? You have 17 basically distracting someone, fighting someone like up in the air, allowing him to take the hits like we saw in episode 102, as Piccolo is also basically shooting ki blasts up at this person. So the guy is just like an OG, like a Jiren or something, and he's just like, he's like dodging or fighting 17 while also dodging Piccolo, and then 17 pulls back, like smiles, and like whoever they're fighting looks around, and they've done like another Hellzone grenade or something where Piccolo just has all those things, and he just boom, like, and the guy or whoever is just like, oh, I'm super hurt, but 17 has that barrier around him, and it's just a huge callback to that fight between 17 and Piccolo. I think that would be really awesome. What are your thoughts on that, man?
I was basically doing the exact same thing with the Hellzone grenade, like have 17 be a distraction, and then Piccolo actually pulls it off. Like, that would, oh, that'd be perfect. Just, I would love to see so many different moves that were in that fight be brought back just for that scene of them having a team up, because like you said, man, that is by far one of the most underrated fights in, I wouldn't even just say Dragon Ball Z, but just in Dragon Ball in general, because it wasn't as long as, say, your Goku versus Frieza or your Gohan versus Cell, but it was such, like you said, it was such a macho fight. Like Piccolo and Android 17 were just alpha in that fight. Like, both of them were just, it was awesome. So seeing those two team up, that would be an epic callback there, and I don't think I would see anyone complain about that, hopefully. But that'd be dope. I agree with that for sure.
And I just wanted to kind of go off on basically the same little rant, not necessarily as in depth, but if we get a Piccolo and 17 team up, we definitely need a Vegeta and 18 team up, and just that another callback to another awesome fight that we saw at the beginning of the Android arc, and just really trying to give 17 and 18 their shine while also putting them against probably their most relevant rivals that they ever fought in Dragon Ball Z. I think would be the best way to do that.
Also, I would love to just hear a few jokes from both sides, like maybe maybe 18 is just like, we're gonna beat this guy like even worse than I beat you earlier in our lives. I was like, oh shoot. Like I could see especially 18. I could see her pulling some stuff like that, just roasting Vegeta to no end. I could see it. And 17 to a lesser degree, but that gets my vote for sure.
Exactly. What about yours?
All right, so if you're, by the time this video has come out, I should have made a video about Kale already that should be on the channel if it's not for whatever reason. Future me that's watching this, get on it. But Kale, as y'all know, I really like Kale, like a lot. I think she's a really cool character and a nice little reimagining of the Broly character that's just vague enough to where you can sort of fill in certain details about her through context clues. And one big thing about Kale that I like a lot is this idea that she's incredibly shy. She's not docile per se, but she's just very emotional. And this is just very, very similar to me to the Gohan that we got in the early Saiyan saga, and even up until later on in the Namek arc to a certain extent. Just seeing Gohan basically be this person that's so emotional and basically goes completely against the Saiyan mold of just, being alpha, basically. I think those two would work very well, and not even killing Berserker form, mind you. I think it would work really well if it was just Gohan mentoring just a controlled, stable Kale.
Yeah. You know what's interesting about that is how Gohan and Piccolo were talking before the beginning of this tournament, and how Piccolo was telling him that he relies too much on his anger or his emotions to bring out his power. And it would be interesting, considering the fact, basically turn it on its head, where you have Gohan learning from Kale not to kind of focus on his emotions, but take a hold and take control of his most powerful form, or some new thing that he gets, take a lesson from her instead of actually teaching her. Because like almost everyone in Dragon Ball Super, you have the Universe 6 Saiyans just have an immense amount of power, but also for whatever reason they're able to control it and get a hold of it way quicker than the people in Universe 7. So I just to kind of turn it on its head, I think that would be really cool. Honestly, just seeing those two fight together would be pretty awesome in my opinion. But I'm gonna give you this. I'm gonna throw a bone out there. This.
Okay.
Gohan and Kale fighting. That's awesome. I want to see that. Totally down 100%. Kale and Vegeta fighting. A lot of people have been wanting to see Kale versus Vegeta for the longest time. They want to see that rematch between Vegeta and the legendary Super Saiyan, or at least a riff on the legendary Super Saiyan with Broly, because we all know in the 8th movie of the original 13 run of Dragon Ball Z, Vegeta got done dirty by Broly. I mean, the guy spent most of the majority of the movie cowering in his boots, not wanting to fight the guy, and then as soon as he got up the balls to basically go fight him, he got taken out. Done. Super bad. But at this point, we know that Vegeta probably is stronger than Kale, and given the fact that Goku didn't even put up enough energy, or a lot of people wanted to speculate that he didn't go full out against Kale with his Kamehameha Wave, and now that she has the whole form kind of mastered, I feel like it's up to Vegeta to fight her.
Yeah, I could see that for certain. The main thing that sticks out to me with that whole thing is just, again, sort of the antithesis of what happened in the Broly movie, and have him team up with someone of the same form of someone that he was completely cowering about in movie 8 of Dragon Ball Z. That would just it's mainly just that little relationship there that I think would work exceedingly well. So I agree with you on that. That's another A+ for me.
There's just so many, guys. There's just so many. This really could be a series. But do we have any more, man? Like, what are your thoughts?
Well, I'm gonna take an easy one real quick, but I think it could be done in a very interesting way that I'll go into detail about. But Frieza and Frost, I think, is a very interesting one. Frieza had to come up at some point in this video because it's me. But the thing about it is, a lot of people are just speculating that Frieza and Frost are just going to team up at some point and betray their universes or something like that. I think it's going to be a lot more complicated than that. The thing is, and I mentioned this in a video on your channel kind of briefly, but I didn't go into detail. But basically the idea that Frost thinks that he's he's the OG, right? He thinks that he has the entire thing of just being sly and manipulative and sneaky and all that. He thinks he has the entire like little evil villain complex completely down. But meeting Frieza, I think is going to be very disillusioned. And one thing that I brought up in your video was that since Frieza can't detect energy, it's very possible to believe that Frost may not be able to either. So Frost may see Frieza and think that they're on an even playing field, because, you know, if I would have seen Frost made a comment similar to, oh, well, you seem much stronger than I have been. Will you ever train me and teach me how to acquire what power you have? Like, I could see that conversation happening, but it didn't. And it's one of those things that you could easily just pin to a coincidence, which more than likely it is. But I think it's very, very possible that he just may not be able to sense people's energy. So with that being said, he doesn't know that Frieza can turn to a golden form and stuff like that, and basically be on the level of Super Saiyan Blue Goku. He doesn't know that right now. So with that being said, if he approaches Frieza with some plan to, you know, if they both go on this whole overthrow the Omni King thing, or whatever the heck they're gonna try, they could get so far in the plan, and then Frieza could eventually betray Frost, maybe turn golden for the first time during the entire tournament, which he still hasn't, which I just think is awesome that he hasn't even had to go golden, but he could turn golden at any point during this little pseudo team up between them, and then basically just make Frost know just how inferior he is to Frieza. If that is the case, but I could just see that being a potential scenario for how it would work.
No, I completely understand where you're coming from with there, and you know, we did do a video about this on my channel a while ago about how Frieza and Frost and how they're working together, yada yada yada. And like you said, he hasn't necessarily gone golden yet, and it's really weird considering the fact that they are in, you know, a fight for the universe, and he went golden maybe just to test his body, obviously just to test his body and his endurance that he had been working on in hell and everything else like that. But he went golden so effortlessly and so for like no reason at all to take out those those assassins. I always expect I expected, I think a lot of people expected Frieza to just go ham from the very beginning of the tournament, just turn golden and just like literally ransack the place. But like you said, you know, he could be working with Frost. They did make that clear and apparent from basically the get-go. You know, they've been pushing that idea that he might be planning something with Frost, and they have this other thing. So he might be holding back for that purpose, and it would be really interesting to paint this picture. Doing another MJ, guys. Paint a picture. Obviously, we know that things are going to get a little bit more hectic. It looks like Frost is basically going around. He's acting like kind of he's a sneaky person at this point, you know, taking out Krillin and basically magic tricking his way away before 18 can kick him off, because we all know that she can. Obviously, she's that strong. And so it would be interesting if, you know, with Jiren and Toppo and all these other people, as Zeno said, or as the Grand Priest I think said, is like, you know, now all the fodder is gone and everyone who's left is going to mean something. You know, the fights are going to get epic and they're going to get way more intense. And as we already hear from spoilers, and we will get into spoilers here just to kind of talk about this and talk about it fully. So if you've been listening and you don't want to be spoiled, please, like I always try to say, please click off or mute it or something and come back in a couple minutes. But we do know in the upcoming episodes, Hit and Goku are going to be working together. So all of this conversation stuff, we called it. All this conversation that we're having, even if they're people from other teams, is still possible because they're obviously writing the story for this. And Frieza and Frost make a whole lot of sense. If they put themselves in a corner where, because they've made this deal, Frost is helping Frieza. Frieza's in a corner, hasn't transformed yet, and Frost realizes that he needs to kind of come out of the shadows and help this guy because they have this deal and they're going to take the wish or do something like this, whatever it may be. And at that moment, Frieza, being the arrogant bastard he is, even though he has been keeping this form away from Frost because he's going to backstab him, right? In that moment, he realizes that whatever reason, Jiren or Toppo or whoever he's fighting is, or even Hit, really, or even Hit, he realizes that this stupid person, it's not even a monkey, as MJ likes to say, this person isn't even a monkey. He's disrespected me, and I'm gonna turn golden. You get this awesome transformation, but at the same time, as they're fighting together, you also get to see the hurt and betrayal in Frost's eyes. That he knew, that's the moment. Frieza is so petty, and Frieza is so much more powerful than him, that he knew that Frieza was gonna backstab him, because they are one and the same person, essentially. And that breaks that deal right then and there when he realizes that Frieza has that power. I think that would be a really very powerful moment.
Yeah, for sure. That's one of those moments that I think would be, because we've seen so much of this idea right now that Universe 6 Saiyans, for example, just seem to be genetically and in terms of overall fighting prowess superior to the Universe 7 ones, where they have to work for so long to attain a form that Universe 6 Saiyans just get by back tingling, which I think is just crazy, just considering how much work the Universe 7 Saiyans put in. I find it to be a really, really interesting thing there. But to see that sort of be flipped on its head and see Frost be just shown to be just this inferior version of Frieza, because Frieza is still the most important one at the end of the day. He's still the most important Frieza race character, no matter how many they introduce, because he is the OG when it comes to the Frieza race characters. So that, like you said, that would be powerful, even if they didn't say anything. If it was just that Frieza just went golden form without saying a word, that would just oh my gosh, I can see the potential. Please have Sheeta on that scene if you
And it'd be cool, just to jump off here, and the last one I have here, just because this is getting a little long and there's definitely more we can do for other videos, but say that happens, right? And put it on. Hit is fighting Frieza. Frost comes in to help Frieza. Frieza turns golden, arrogance. This guy thinks he's better than me. I'll show him what's what. Frost realizes, holy crap, and then realizes that he's working for someone who's going to betray him, so he gangs up and fights with Hit. Badass.
Yes.
Especially because these two people, Hit and Frost, have had more screen time together interacting with each other than almost anyone else that we saw fight in the original Champa arc when Universe 7 fought Universe 6. I mean, we had that whole thing where Hit took out Frost, and then we had that whole thing when he was recruiting Frost, so having them at least team up would be pretty awesome.
Yeah, for sure. That's also a great one too. There's so many possibilities right now. It's kind of crazy. And there's one more that I'd want to mention, but I think that one would go on for a while if I were to start it. And
no. If you want to save it for the next one, I mean, it's up to you, man.
Yeah, let's save it for the next one. Because this one could be a topic in its own, I think. And of course, I'll talk to you about that off the air. But before I close things off, do you have any other team-ups, comments, questions, concerns?
No. Concerns. Yes, I have a couple concerns. I wanted to. No, dude, that was awesome. I can't wait to do more of these. I hope we can get more of them out in the future. I hope people liked it. Thanks for having me, man.
No problem. Well, with that being said, guys, if you enjoyed the video, please drop a like. Comment below any team-ups that you potentially think would be a very good idea and potentially things that you'd want us to discuss. And also, share the video with people that you know and people that you don't know, but you just want to harass with my videos, in which case, thank you. And also, if you haven't subscribed to Marvin Real to Real Productions, I don't know why you wouldn't, but if you haven't, as always, I'm going to put his channel link in the description below, so please go check out his stuff. This man creates daily quality content and discussions that create very, very fun discussions and comment sessions and stuff like that, so please check him out if you haven't. And please subscribe to the channel if you're new. And with that being said, guys, love you all so much. I hope you all have an amazing day. Don't let anyone change who you are. And God bless. Peace out, guys.
Bingo! After you're finished, come through, just you and your. Time to play some bingo!